Namaste, my friends, my friends. Namaste. So, this has been an incredible experience, and I hope that you've gained a lot from living the Gita, from reading the Gita, and I really encourage you towards this next chapter of your life when you find the Gita again. Read it from a different perspective. Maybe you reread it immediately after from the perspective of Arjuna. You are Arjuna, the seeker, the observer. Perhaps you read it from the perspective that you are Krishna. You are God speaking out, saying the word that you already knew deep within yourself. You know the answers. You do. You are good. You are a piece of God incarnated as well. But the trick is to know that everyone else is too, okay? So go ahead and sit tall, hands at heart center. Let's ground ourselves, close the eyes. Breathe into the low, low back. Maybe even the buttocks fill the low back with breath. Exhale. Inhale for Om. Breathe. Release. Om Shanti. So the final chapters, faith, transformation, and soul liberation is present. And we must have faith over doubt always, okay? And it's funny because faith kind of lives here in a heart, but where does doubt usually live? Well, it can live in a lot of places. It can manifest in a lot of places, but it starts up here. Doubt, fear, insecurity, not enoughness, feelings of no purpose or lack of clarity, of vision, of motivation, it all starts up here in the head, right? In India, it's very common to see people kind of doing this over and over and over. And it's always just like there's fear and then there's faith, okay? And you toggle between both of these, or faith and doubt, always come back to the faith. Faith is different from knowing, okay? Knowing is when you see a dog in front of you and there's proof in the pudding. It's scientifically proven that there is a dog in front of you. You know there's a dog in front of you. But when it comes to angels and miracles and manifestation, visualization, things that are a little less tangible, that's where the belief comes in. And in order to believe, you have to access a little bit down here in the body. You feel it in your bones. You feel it in the fascia. You feel it in the prana circulating throughout the body. And I think in the journeys of Frodo specifically and Arjuna, we have our seekers that are going on quest. And sometimes you feel that you resonate with Frodo. Sometimes there's things in life that you really don't want to do. But you must have faith always. Always have faith, because that is what's going to keep you going through the hard times. And I want to pull up a quote, one of my favorite quotes by Gandalf, and it's in your syllabus as well. It's something that I come back in times of low self-esteem, or if I feel that I have a burning desire to relapse or hurt someone else or myself, then I like coming back to this, because it's like, oh, we are not exempt ever. Sometimes we feel like, why do I need to go through all of this suffering, right? We are not exempt. We all go through this. Billions of people in the world. You are not the exception. We all, unfortunately, suffer. But here's the great thing. It brings us together. And there are things in this world worth fighting for. So I'm pulling up the syllabus so we can read this together, okay? Now, and this aligns with the whole precipice of faith. Frodo comes to Gandalf in anguish and says, I wish the ring had never come to me. I wish none of this had happened. And Gandalf responds, so do all who live to see such times, but that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us. There are other forces at work in this world, Frodo, besides the will of evil. Bilbo was meant to find the ring, in which case you were also meant to have it. And that is an encouraging thought. And we have to reflect upon this, like in the midst of despair, just the consideration that there might be hope, there might be something in this world worth fighting for, is an encouraging thought, right? So just reflect upon when you're in the midst of despair, or you're really going through the ringer, in the place of frustration. We have to reframe it and think, perhaps this is no error. Perhaps there's a lesson that the Creator, God, the universe, is trying to teach us, and somehow we're almost meant to have this situation. There are several times in my life that I am baffled by how my addiction to alcoholism and codependency and drugs has actually, later on in life, hindsight, saved my life so many different times. And I'm sure if you're an addict, that resonates with you in different ways. You can think of it as, what a cool thing it is to be of service and tell your story. Just like Bilbo writes this down, and through tradition of passing it down, we have it through Tolkien, we get this amazing story of hope and loyalty and conquering imagined disabilities even. Like, you can do it, you must do it. This is the Dharma. Samwise Gamgee, later in the syllabus, I put this in here. It's one of my favorites. When Frodo is really full of doubt and darkness, and he's lost a lot of will and energy towards the end of the journey towards destroying the ring in Mordor, Samwise Gamgee says, it's like the great stories, Mr. Frodo, the ones that really mattered. Full of darkness and danger they were, and sometimes you didn't want to know the end, because how could the end be happy? How could the world go back to the way it was when so much bad has happened? But in the end, it's only a passing, this thing, this shadow. Even darkness must pass. A new day will come, and when the sun shines, it'll shine out the clearer. I now know folks in those stories had lots of chances of turning back. Only they didn't. They kept going because they were holding on to something. That there's some good in this world, Mr. Frodo, and it's worth fighting for. So good. Brilliant. So think of how has your faith supported you during fierce transformations in life, whether it's getting sober, getting straight with yourself, getting clear, getting really, really real with yourself. How does blind faith support you in this? And then through that, perhaps liberation and freedom is born. Liberation is something that's born through the ashes, like a phoenix. Something has to die in order for you to take the next step. You got to shed something. You got to do the hard thing, and it's really sucky and uncomfortable. There's an eclipse going on as I record this right now, and it's very intense times in the collective, individually, I feel, as well. So we have to stick through it, because if we keep reverting to the bad negative patterns, if we lose out right when we're at the pinnacle of transformation, it's inevitable. Think of it as like the caterpillar. The caterpillar doesn't know, because it's never been a butterfly before. It doesn't know that perhaps this gooey chrysalis and breaking out of it and transforming and having growing pains is part of the process. And maybe they're thinking like, why me? Why God me? Why is this so painful? You gotta let go of being a caterpillar and just become the butterfly. And through that is where we find the soul's freedom of liberation. And Frodo's release from the ring's power is symbolizing this, and Arjuna's total surrender to Krishna. When Arjuna sees his real form and he goes on and on and on, he's like, now I know. I hear what you're saying, I feel what you're saying, and I believe it. I believe it, finally. And that's the thing. Krishna keeps saying kind of the same things over and over and over. Like, Arjuna, what are you not getting through your thick skull? Do you not understand that this is going to keep on going from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime? And that's the law of karma. The lesson will be applied to you in different ways, sometimes even harsher and harsher and harsher, until you wake up. People who have had NDEs, near-death experiences, myself included. I got hit by a truck. I was in my car, I got hit by a huge truck, and it literally catapulted me into a near-death experience. Had to get surgery and, this, that, the other, right? And it was awful. It was awful. But there was this realization in the moment when I was hurling through the air, and many, many people have had this as well in their near-death experiences, where it's kind of like a voice that you feel saying, wake up. Pay attention. Do you feel all of the things in your nerves, in your cells? Do you feel the warmth of a shower, the beauty, the grace of a loved one just being there? Wake up and pay attention, pay attention. And through that, you may feel a huge amount of surrendering to the present moment, and it can be extremely liberating. So stick with it, don't give up. Do not give up. Mark Abrams says, when you're watching the sunset, and it takes some time for the sun to set, don't give up on it. Don't give up. Stick with it. Because it's not until the sun fully sets that the most spectacular colors appear. And if you wouldn't have stuck with it, you would have missed it. It would have been gone, poof, like that. So don't give up on it. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up. There is good in this world worth fighting for, always, point blank, period. So I want you to take a seat right now and close your eyes. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine physiologically, really, really imagine the sensation of what it feels like in your body to experience a feeling of liberation. Breathe into it. What do you smell like? What are you wearing? How much money did you just get? How much are you donating to charity? Letting go of all of the grips. Flow. Let the blood flow and circulate through any tension in the upper back, the neck, shoulders. Just let it flow. You don't need to be gripping onto the tension, more so. Let it go. Whew. Notice any gripping to any unnecessary tension or suffering right now. Let it go. And you may think, oh, if I let this go, if I don't over control this, if I'm not hyper vigilant, nothing will happen. No one will care about me. No one will love me. People will leave me. That is not true. Love yourself now. For everyone else's sake, love yourself now. There's a visceral, there's a somatic, there's an energetic motivation right before the surrendering process. You must choose hope. Always. And then open your eyes. So throughout this course, we went over the key themes of recovery, of overcoming obstacles, of being courageous through this personal development in your life. And you may want to go out and tell your partner about it, or your friends, or your parents, or your family members, and they're just not willing to get into the Gita. That's okay. The best way to really spread this word, because it's oh so good and you know that it's worked for you, is to live it. Be the living example of how you want the world to look, how you want the world to be and act, how you want people to act towards you. Do that for yourself. Don't overgive. Be nice, of course, but always start with source, God, self. That is the most important relationship right there. It's something that I'm constantly referring back to. Constantly. Don't forget that. And integrating these techniques of mindfulness, of sensory experience, of really feeling all the nerve endings in the moment can be very psychedelic without taking drugs, without an outside external helper, without lusting after something, that sense desire. No. Yoga is a work in, not a workout. It's shedding. It's shedding all of the stuff that we really don't need. And you may have talked yourself into it. You may have thought that I need this. No. Shed it all away. So by integrating these techniques of mindfulness, of reflection, of being of service to others who have suffered just like you, do it for those people. Because you can be the beacon of hope. My goodness, you can be the lifeline. Don't stop helping others. Work the steps, work the program, and work the lessons that Krishna has dispelled to us through the Bhagavad Gita in your everyday daily life. You can take a little shloka, a little piece, a little verse every day and really chew on it every day. You can spend your entire life on just one chapter. It's so jam-packed. It really, really is. So to close out, I want you to share with the group, or you can email me, at least one key takeaway, like a big key takeaway that you have gotten from this course, from the Bhagavad Gita and the Lord of the Rings, that you plan to implement in your journey. And this isn't for me, This isn't an ego boost, but I'm genuinely interested, I'm genuinely curious, but also it's for you. Because sometimes these life lessons just go right over our heads. But you gotta stick with it, reflect, learn, grow, and don't stop having faith. Always. I am here for you. The community is here for you. Krishna, God, we are all here for you. Why? Because you are worth it. Because you are the most important person to God, to Jesus, to Krishna, to Buddha, to me too. And we mean that. Okay? You are loved, you are loved, you are loved. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Let's chant the Maha Mantra together as a celebration to Krishna for showing us the way, for giving us an instruction manual in the Bhagavad Gita of how to live life towards soul liberation. So I'll chant a line and then you respond. Go ahead and get comfortable. Breathe. Listen. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. All together. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Listen. Hare Hare Hare. Your turn. Hare Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Breathe. We'll close with the chant of Om, followed by 3 Shantis. Inhale for Om. Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Hare Om. May all beings everywhere be free of suffering. May all beings everywhere be happy. May all beings everywhere be at peace. May all beings be free. I bow down to you, my friends. Until next time, always with heart, always with God. Om Shanti.